Wes McLeese.
Work for a private consulting firm called Gresham Smith and Partners. They're based out in Nashville. Well, we're transportation only.
Okay. So where did you go to school?
I went to school at Mississippi State.
Okay. And you did their civil engineering program?
Civil engineering, got my bachelor's degree in civil engineering, and actually went back once I was working full time here in Central Mississippi. I went back and got an MBA online in project management.
Okay.
So
Do you have your FE?
I did.
Okay. Did you eventually get your PE?
I did.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. What got you into engineering? What made you want to go to that field?
Well, my dad is a civil engineer.
Okay.
He worked at the Corps of Engineers, the Waterways Experiment Station, is what it used to be called in Vicksburg,
Mm-hmm.
for his whole career. And so I would see him get up and go to work as a civil engineer and come home in the afternoon. And I'd entertained the idea of a couple of other occupations, but I was always good at math. Math came easy to me, and it's just sort of what I gravitated towards. I enjoyed the sciences and physics in college, and I like figuring out how things work.
When you graduated from college and got your FE, where did you go to work?
Started working for a consulting firm, actually an office in Canton at the time. Wilford Gearhart and Knight was the name of the firm I worked for, and I worked in Canton for about 6 years, and then transferred to the Clinton office, and I worked there probably another 6 years.
And so do you practice civil engineering, or are you a project manager? Is that
I do transportation design right now.
okay?
So,
Okay, do you have a current project you're working on you can tell us about?
I don't know that I'm really supposed to talk about the current projects.
What about maybe a project that you have done that is local?
Yes. Well, I've been at Gresham Smith for about 3 years this month, I think. And one of the last projects I worked on at my previous firm, I did a lot of design work on the Hampstead Boulevard extension here in Clinton.
Okay, I do not know what that is.
You know where Morrison Heights Church
Oh,
is on
okay,
the interstate?
okay, the new road that circles around
It
from
connects
Morrison
from
Heights to
Morrison
Walmart.
Heights to Walmart.
Yeah, that's great. Okay.
So one of the principals that started that off got the alignment and maybe the profile set, and I did a lot of I sort of picked that project up from that point and carried it through the rest of the design phase and produced the plans and contract documents for that. I left before that project was bid and before construction started, but after the design was complete.
What about the biggest project you've ever been a part of?
Well, I'll say this: since I've come to my present firm, a lot of the projects are bigger than the projects I used to work on. Prior to coming here, we did mostly city and county municipal size projects, and the work we do now is with MDOT, so it's interstates and
Interstate,
highway
right? Okay.
projects.
Okay.
But one of the bigger projects, or maybe more complex projects that I've worked on in the past, when I was at the previous firm, one of my supervisors was the county engineer for Jefferson County
Okay.
down in southwest Mississippi, and so there was a project. It was really two county roads that came together at an intersection, a T intersection, and there was a drainage creek, I guess, that sort of went under both roads right there close to the intersection, within 150 or 200 feet of the T intersection. And there were bridges that were built, I think in the 80s, that spanned those
The waterway.
drainage creek. But the interesting thing was the flow line of this creek had dropped significantly, like 10 feet or so, since the 80s, since those bridges were built. And so as the flow line dropped, the banks got farther and farther apart. The top of the banks got farther and farther apart, and they ended up getting wider than the bridge. So that was sort of an emergency situation where you didn't have enough bridge to cross the creek,
Wow.
and the road, as you approach the bridge, was starting to fall under the bridge. So that was one of the projects that I was tasked with, and we ended up replacing the bridges. It's, as far as I know, it's still under construction now. There was another one that was designed before I changed jobs, and I think it's under construction now, if not complete yet. But we replaced the bridges with box culverts.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was an attempt to keep the stream, the flow line of the stream from dropping even further. And that involved a lot of fill dirt, long box culverts, and a lot of dirt to fill back in where the
Yeah.
bridge.
What do you see in this area that could be the greater Jackson area? Because I'm sure you have to know a lot about it. You see future challenges in the transportation field.
Well, one of the future challenges, I think, that's not just the Jackson area, but it's certainly statewide and nationwide to some extent, is a lack of funding. We spent a lot of money in the 60s and 70s building this tremendous interstate system and highway system, and we've got a lot of city bridges and county bridges and roadways that were built, and they were great when they were built, but they've deteriorated over time. And it's not a big ticket item for a politician to say, we're going to fund maintenance. That doesn't
get people.
get the
elected.
votes a lot of times. So I think our elected leaders are always slow to fund the necessary maintenance to upkeep, to keep these roads in good condition. I mean, you can pick anywhere you want to drive, and you can probably find a crumbling road that needs rehab, or at the very least an overlay, an overlay. But it's hard finding the money to do that. And I think construction costs have increased significantly faster than county, city, and state budgets have increased. So the inflation cost of construction materials is outpacing our ability to maintain
Fund projects to keep things up.
projects. The fact of the matter is, and nobody wants to hear this, but especially me, I like low taxes as much as anybody. But if we don't find a way to pay for transportation maintenance, we are going to end up losing the system that we